Welcome back to the spring split of the LPL 2018, coming back for our second game now between JD Gaming and RNG. Now, JD Gaming currently leading the series 1-0, though we saw a very similar series open up earlier today where FPX led the series 1-0 and then unfortunately got turned back around on them. So let's see if we have a change in history in this one.
And that's the question. It's the consistency of these teams. If we're just going to see, flashes in the pan, or if they can compete with the big boys and be those consistent forces that we know the likes of WE, RNG, and EDG can be.
Yeah, I do want to kick this discussion off on Zoe, and I find myself in this situation a lot, where a team gets Zoe, and whether it's a strong team or a weaker team, and whether this is them trying to upset the balance of things, but it gets into the second game and Zoe does well, and I'm like, just ban Zoe. And usually it happens, but sometimes it doesn't.
I mean, the thing is I definitely recognize that Zoe is very strong, and I definitely think that we're going to actually see her banned, simply because of YaGao's incredible performance on Zoe, his proficiency with the champion, but I do not believe that Zoe is a must-ban champion. I feel like with the current meta where you have tank supports like Braum and Tom Kench, where high-priority junglers like Sejuani are around, and then with Ryze and Malzahar also having options to fight her and lock her down, and if the suppression comes through, if the snare comes through, she will pop, that teams can feel comfortable leaving her up knowing that they have weapons to use against her.
Yeah, there's absolutely tools, but it's like at one point where she continues to one-shot even your tanky members of the team, it's like, you know what, it's just too much effort to like sculpture a composition around, stopping this. So at that point I would say just ban the pig. You can spare one of your bans for that. We do have a sub in though. Abel is coming into the AD carry pool, into the bottom lane. He'll be now starting for RNG. It makes me a little bit happy because I would like to see more of Abel. We saw him in the first game, and frankly, I didn't feel like his game against IG was necessarily his fault, but then Y4 comes in, he has a stellar performance, it's like, I guess we'll just keep Y4 in. And that's essentially how it's gone for a lot of RNG series up until this date.
I feel like anytime Abel sees a Vayne, he just has to appear. Either he's playing it or it was just played, and I don't know if that's what cued it off, but he definitely just saw the performance that Loken put up on the champion, and we know that Abel is a very highly mechanical, very gifted player, and he would definitely want to grab hold of a powerful tool like Vayne and show off.
And heading into this game as well, it does say a lot about RNG in terms of how much stock they put in Abel as a player, instead of saying doubling down on Y4, who we've actually seen results from, heading into a second game with a 1 game down and saying, actually Abel, here you go, here's an opportunity for you to do well. It actually says a lot.
And it's hard for me. I can see the logic in there, and I'm not in comms with the team, so I can't say 100% one way or the other. But again, seeing that RNG have done something very similar in the past, right before a long break like Chinese New Year, I do expect kind of week 1, 2, and 3 leading up to Chinese New Year to be a more loose time for RNG.
Experimentation period.
Yeah, exactly. They will flex with their newer players, try to give them experience on the stage, and then post Chinese New Year, that's when I feel the real RNG will come out, and Uzi will probably return.
Yeah, that'll be very interesting to see if it actually, that's just a yearly occurrence. That's what RNG do. We'll just allow Uzi some time and then he'll come back and completely wipe them. Either way, we're going to send it over to the caster desk for the next game.
Thank you very much, Pauls. Yes, we are over here at the caster desk. We still got some music in the background as well, and we are going to be casting this next match. Jingle Gaming taking on RNG. Jingle Gaming currently 1-0 up.
I will say, before we even talk about that, you get a little bit fat there. I know we were talking about earlier on about you eating that rice, maybe you stealing it.
You ate my food.
And now you just broke your chair.
I did break my chair.
You need to lay off the pounds, Fish. You need to lay it off.
I'm currently, not quite fully sitting on this chair because I'm a bit scared.
You might have to actually start standing.
I do have to go, lose some weight. Might go for a run later, Raz. You want to join me?
Nope.
No? Why not? You did eat my food.
You would slow me down.
I'll take that challenge any day. Let's get straight into this match. RNG taking on Jindong Gaming. RNG have made that substitution, as Roscoe pointed out on the desk. They're bringing Abel in. But Jindong Gaming, they looked really strong in game number 1.
Yes. What surprised me the most was that they actually played a slower, controlled game when they had a set lead. And the lead was in the top lane. Letme was getting smashed, Fish. He was getting demolished in the matchup. And so it made it very clear for Jingdong what they needed to do to be able to kind of snowball that forward, take top lane tower, move that towards the mid lane. It felt like they knew how to get the necessary numbers to scare RNG off from fights. So I do not expect a GP pickup coming in from Letme.
We immediately have pick ban changes as well, Raz. Zoe being banned out. One Sparkle Boy has been taken off the table as well as Taric will hit the bench. For the side of Jingdong Gaming, though, Azir as well as Camille will be banned out.
I just feel like Mlxg, when they went into the back, was like, I just got sniped by Redemption. Ban this damn champion. Quote.
Is that what he said?
Exactly what he said. Nah, he didn't. Misquoting the man.
But RNG banning 3 champions that Jingdong Gaming picked up in the last set. On being banned out.
Yeah, the Ornn pick, suddenly we get to see what Zoom can play in the LPL. I know we got to see a lot of picks coming in from the Demacia Cup, like the Alawi, which is kind of raising a lot of people's hopes out there. Definitely not named Pulse. So we get to see a little bit more of what Zoom can actually play here when he's not just gifted the Ornn pickup.
Final ban from Jingdong Gaming is going to be the Alistar ban, targeted towards Ming, who looks incredibly strong on the champion at the moment. Vladimir, the first pick that comes out for RNG, still a flex pick between Xiaohu as well as Letme. Jingdong Gaming now gets to pick up 2 champions of their own.
That's the thing about RNG currently in the Eastern Conference is that they've been levying a lot of flex picks, which makes pick ban incredibly difficult for Jingdong. Jingdong, of course, taking Camille, which is a flex pick away from them. Vladimir is another one that can be played for both Letme and Xiaohu, so you just don't know what you're going into.
I mean, we saw Clid was able to style Mlxg with the Lee Sin pick last match, but Jarvan is left up and available, so he locks it in instantly. And one of the more staple picks in the jungle at the moment in the current meta. Kog'Maw gets picked up for Loken as well.
I'm starting to see what the composition looks like with Jingdong with only 1 pick. If you are RNG's coach right now, sirens are going off, that you might get yourself either a Juggernaut composition, a Galio might come through. I'm just saying it's going to get pretty nasty. There's a lot of protection here. That's why I like the Jarvan pickup. Could go towards Zoom, could go towards Clid, very likely Clid, just because Jarvan is such a strong jungler currently.
Meanwhile, RNG, Kha'Zix is the responsive choice. This is the common matchup that we are seeing in the early stages of 2018.
Yeah, it's the first time that Clid has moved away from the Kha'Zix and the Lee Sin, so Mlxg picks it up himself. Might get to see Mlxg start to pressure into Clid's jungle this time around. I know we were talking a lot about the jungle matchup between both of these teams because Mlxg has been such a strong counter jungler, which makes this pick all the more interesting.
We'll have to see if he does get any counter jungling done against Jingdong in this match. Varus is the final pick that comes in the first rotation for RNG. Jingdong Gaming will pick up their support of Braum, which does enable the Kog'Maw a little bit in lane.
Yeah, I like the Varus picked up. Very high percent just win rate. And overall, just kind of, it's a safe AD carry that Abel can pick up for himself before they go into the second phase. Just because if you don't pick up an AD carry going into phase 2, and Jingdong have already gotten themselves Kog'Maw, it's going to be a free-for-all for how many AD carry bans come through.
First ban from Jingdong Gaming is going to be Janna as well. Champion we see picked up, here and there. We saw WE use it to good success against Avicii yesterday. But it is a very safe pick, especially with a couple of supports already being banned out. Taric, Alistar, Janna. We have Braum picked up. You're only really left with the Tahm Kench.
You might want to ban the Tahm Kench. Might want to take that away. I know that's been a frequent ban from RNG, but if Ming can play it. 100% Ming can play it.
And who would you go towards with all these support bans and the Braum already picked up? If Tahm Kench gets banned out here, that pool is rather thin. You have Shen, potentially.
Yeah, I would say a Rakan is a possibility. Shen is a possibility. I would say Shen more so just because Rakan without the Xayah doesn't have that much effectiveness as an engaged champion just because she's pretty squishy with the build path that Rakans have gone towards. So you're right in the sense that you kind of have to worry about what Ming wants to pick up here. Shen would just make sense because you have a Vladimir and a Kha'Zix.
Whereas for the side of RNG, the ban on LeBlanc could be a Mlxg ban against YaGao, if that's what they want to go towards. You already mentioned during the start of the series that that's a champion that Jingdong Gaming play around in the mid lane, and that is the ban coming out from RNG.
And now this is where the kind of composition starts finishing up for your Jingdong. Because yeah, sure, Mlxg is gone. But does YaGao actually go towards a Galio pick? Because I think that's really strong with this composition. They already have the damage coming in through Clid, or at least from Loken picking up the Kog'Maw. Is he just flashing it just to make fun of Letme?
Oh, potentially. That would be a tilter. It would be even worse if he locks it in, Raz. And Zoom just says, you know what? You had a bad time on Gangplank. Let me show you how you meant to play it.
He has carry picks. That's the funny thing about Zoom. Even though he's coming to the LPL just playing tanks, he hasn't really come out and just showcased that he can play carries. Just kind of previewed it during the preseason. So it's going to be the first look up for us to see how well he can actually play this GP.
Leona's the lock-in of choice for RNG. Very aggressive support in the bottom lane. Provides a lot of crowd control that the current roster is lacking.
Yeah, it's been a pick that Ming has really preferred even when it was out of meta. The only worry here is that you're going into a Braum. And Braum versus Leona is a pretty tilting lane to go into because if you make one bad choice, they will just run you down. You'll lose a lot off of it, if not a kill.
And Orianna, the final pick.
Okay.
More crowd control coming in for RNG. Xiaohu picking it up in the mid lane. We don't see too much Orianna anymore, Raz.
It's one of the reasons why.
Because Galio gets locked in. That's the reason why?
It's just...
Why is Galio the reason why we don't see too much Orianna?
Okay, well, I'm just saying in this specific composition, like, Orianna is a safe pick to go towards, has great protection for your team, and that's why they would love the Orianna for their team composition. It just kind of fell out of the meta just because a lot of the recent mid laners, the Azirs, a lot of the picks, of course, that are already banned, can outlane it, can have more effectiveness in team fights, and this is a team fight that you kind of have to be afraid of. I wonder how much damage Orianna is going to actually be able to output in those team fights because I don't see her being able to get a proper shockwave when she's just getting dogpiled on.
We'll have to see if Xiaohu's able to play it. He is, you know, a decent Orianna player. We saw him play it many times.
Yes.
In Season 7. Now he's going to be picking up against the Galio pick, which you said is available for YaGao to pick up after all the bans that were thrown his way. He did go towards it.
And so that was kind of what I was worried about, because for the first two picks coming in from Jingdong, you kind of had a good indication that the Galio was going to be the pickup for them, that they were going to be going for the composition that made WE famous going into international competition. And they just kind of opted into it. So I wonder what RNG are going to be looking to do in team fights, because I think their only option really is to kind of pick out these lanes specifically. The GP kind of comes into mind, that they should look towards that top lane matchup and just try and impact it as much as possible so they don't have to fight in these neutral positions like Dragons and Barons, because that's usually when that composition starts to turn, become a little bit fire.
And RNG, after losing Game 1 against Jingdong Gaming, as we mentioned, their first 3 bans kind of just picked apart bits and pieces of what Jingdong Gaming had in their Game 1 matchup. And then they're like, you know what, that's not enough. Let's throw 2 more at YaGao's way because he is just that damn strong at the moment. He's a really strong mid laner. As you mentioned, the highest roaming potential out of any mid laner. And that shopkeeper kind of looks like Rusty, don't you think?
A little bit. I think it's the mustache that makes it.
I think it's just the look. Gives you that little look.
You can kind of hear what he sounds like. Sounds a little bit like Rusty.
But as we were saying, YaGao has the highest roaming potential out of all the mid laners in the LPL at the moment.
Which made Mlxg... Oh my god, this man. I love him. 100% I love him. But anyways, back to the point.
We need to find that man.
We do. Which made Mlxg a great pick for YaGao, just because if he's roaming constantly, if top lane's a point that he has to go towards, then you just have great skirmish potential with the team. Clid is always going to be coming out with you, and then you just catch him out. Galio can do that a little bit faster, because, of course, the ultimate that he has.
And we've already seen what Galios can do with a bit of ability power picked up, Raz. I mean, yesterday's match was pretty disgusting for Sia, and he's able to pick it up against Vici. A lot of RNG fans still out there, Raz. We heard the chants coming out from RNG, and that one very, very loud fan in the audience for Jingdong Gaming. We are on to Summoner's Rift. No early action between the two teams.
But this is very interesting from Jarvan. Leashless, topside red buff. Afraid that Mlxg would walk into and contest him. Very smart from him. Even placed a ward to see if he would actually do it. So Mlxg is going to come here and has 2 layers of sadness. The first layer, there's no red buff here. The second layer of sadness is he doesn't know about it, but they know exactly where he is. So sure, he can take Raptors, but it makes it so much easier for Clid to have the bottom side impact. When he knows that the jungler of RNG is nowhere near him.
They're about to hit level 2 as well, Raz. Level 2 is picked up by both sides, but RNG playing this very, very cautiously. Mlxg gets a single Raptor camp.
That is a sign of very strong communication coming in from RNG. Because 5 out of I don't know how many damn teams we have in this league would have fell for that. A lot of teams would have fell for that, tried to go in for a level 2 skirmish on the bottom side of the map, or at least would have just walked up to the wave like any rational level 2 bottom lane and would have died just to that gank, that level 2 cheesy gank. But they had good comms coming in from Mlxg. Took Raptors, red buff was gone. He was like, all right, I don't know where he is. He's definitely wouldn't be taking Krugs because that's suicidal for a level 1 Jarvan. So they called out that Jarvan was going to be bottom side, so that was just strong from them, and they remain safe.
I mean, it does mean that Clid is slightly behind Mlxg in terms of farm at the moment, but he'll be able to cover just fine. Gives a lot of added safety in the jungle as well.
Yeah, Clid's just happy that he made the choice, even if he couldn't get the bottom side fight, because he just avoids Mlxg contesting him at his red buff anyways. So he still gets his 2 buffs. He still gets bottom side jungle. Sure, he loses Raptors. That's a little bit sad for him. But at the end of the day, he's able to trade back and can evenly farm up the jungle against the more aggressive jungler in the Kha'Zix.
But so far to kick this game off, not too much action taking place between the two teams. Zoom top side of the map, up against Letme. He's doing fine at the moment. No early game pressure coming out from Kha'Zix. No rotation coming out from the Orianna just yet. He's not out of the woods yet. Still has some time before Gangplank comes online.
Yeah, if you're a JDG, you just have to wait a little bit to the level 6 portion of it. Level 6 is when they spike. Jarvan has his ultimate, Galio has his ultimate, and of course, GP will be able to impact bottom side of the map with his ult. So it's a level 6 composition that they have, which means that they just have to farm out safely and stop any kind of forms of aggression that Mlxg is trying to bait them into. In fact, Mlxg went for an early base just to get double longsword, so he really wants a fight. He really wants to find J4, but he's always in the opposite side of the map. So what can he do if he's constantly seen on these wards, and if he's never able to meet that objective of trying to impact Clid's speed?
For now, he's just going to be farming, it seems. Moves over towards this Krug camp. We see Galio in the mid lane, farming out against Xiaohu perfectly fine. He's already used 3 of his minion dematerializer stacks, as well as his first teleport back into lane using the Unsealed Spellbook to change it out. Loken's just picked up Unsealed Spellbook on his Kog'Maw. Only Letme on the side of RNG picking it up, but we don't have the 4 this time round, right? There's no 4 Unsealed Spellbooks for Jindong.
Yeah, no 4 or 3 cleanses, however many needed. Last one, it was just Mlxg being sad because he couldn't engage on anybody. None of that worry here. You're going to have YaGao just laughing at Xiaohu's face.
Both of them just having a bit of a laugh. YaGao will head back to base. He's going to be... Sorry, Xiaohu will head back to base. He's going to have to walk all the way back into lane. YaGao's going to be sitting there farming perfectly fine. Topside map. Zooms takes some harass from Letme. He's going to be forced back as well.
Yeah, I wonder what YaGao does here. Because he can either base, because he has the base advantage, or at least the advantage of being on the map faster than Xiaohu, or he can look for these fights.
He's going to steal all the small chickens there. He is level 6. Clid's going to try and jump in as well. But a smite comes out from Mlxg. Now he's turned the pressure on towards YaGao, getting good damage. Galio tries to jump out, gets on top of a wild support. Ming taking damage. YaGao flashed out, but it's going to be first blood picked up by Abel. Clid's in trouble as well. Ming jumps over. The Dragons joined the fight as well. Gets a couple auto attacks onto Ming, but it's not going to be enough. RNG with 2 picks.
Strong resolve from RNG. Recognized that YaGao had no reason to be there and just jumped on top of him. I like the idea from YaGao that he was on the map. He had level 6, they can look for a fight. But he didn't have his jungler, and so, of course, with how prolonged that fight was going to be, Xiaohu was going to get there, and Ming and Abel were going to be able to cut him off. So that was just, I would say, good idea, poor planning as a team, poor communication to just kind of bring in Jarvan for this play to happen.
I mean, yes, Mlxg took quite a bit of damage here, but why is he split up from the team?
That's the point. Like, off this point forward, you can see that YaGao is already, yeah, sure, cut off, but by the time Clid makes it there to help him in the fight, it's already over.
Now this Clid tries to flash over, smites the dragon for some health, actually knocks him back to auto attack range.
Yeah, leading up to that play, that's why it was a very important kind of next few seconds for YaGao, because he saw Xiaohu basing and he had 2 options. Push the wave and base himself to kind of keep up in lane, or he's level 6, he can look for a play. That was the small window of opportunity that Jingdong had to create a fight. And so he saw that. It just wasn't Jarvan who saw that initially to kind of walk up with him. So that was just a, you know, go back to your base and kind of like talk about like what really happened here at this point in time? Who's really at fault here? Technically everybody. Technically.
Has given RNG an 800 gold lead, which early into the match is nothing to shy away from. It is decent, but not game-changing just yet. Have a Xiaohu trying to be a little bit of a nuisance and try and steal blue buff away almost.
Yeah, it's a small lead, but it happens, or at least the lead is where it's most beneficial for RNG. Vladimir is already doing well in the top side of the map already. So him not getting that gold, not really that bad. So that just means that Xiaohu is going to be a little bit more comfortable in pushing out the wave here, and maybe he can actually impact top side of the map. We already saw what happened when Letme was on the GP in a losing matchup.
Well, they're going to try and see what they can do in a winning matchup. GP going to be forced to flash away from Mlxg here. Just burning to summon a spell on the top side of the map.
And that's the sad life of a GP. We saw it in the last game. We'll see it in this one. Is that if the rest of the map is starting to fall around you, you are that focus. You are the target. A very squishy champion, not a lot of ability to protect yourself under tower. Sure, he has a stopwatch, but we saw what happens when you had stopwatch in the last game. You still have the setup for another dive. So I want to see what RNG can do to impact this lane now.
But he's not having as bad of a time as what Letme had last match. Still doing okay on the Gangplank.
That's true.
Just needs to survive for a little bit longer. Xiaohu picks up his first blue buff of the game as well. And Jindong Gaming holding on just fine, despite the 2 kills that were picked up, the mistakes that were made. They're happy to sit back and farm. They're the ones with the decent scaling with the Kog'Maw and the Gangplank.
Yeah, and you know what's going to protect that Gangplank at the top side is the Galio. Galio either constantly missing from the lane, which means that Orianna has to call, you know, missing. You can't really look for a fight, can't look for a dive, because YaGao could literally be anywhere, ready for a dive, or at least a counter dive in the top side of the map. He was just basing at that moment, but that's going to be the case for YaGao, is that if he can get proper control wards in either side of the lane, he can just push wave, hide, push wave, hide. There's not much you can do about it if you're RNG. You just have to bring more members to make the dive worthwhile.
But no pressure towards top side of the map just yet. Zoom is just trying to farm up as much as he can, get as many potions as he can through the Kleptomancy. However, so far in this mid lane, that's where the pressure has been. Clid trying to make a return visit, but Xiaohu is fairly safe on the back side of his lane. Both mid laners will take level 9 as well. Happy to just continue farming and shoving waves into one another.
Here's a little bit of a predicament that Mlxg is in. He's level 6 right now, level behind a Clid, and he doesn't have any camps in the bottom side of the map. So yeah, sure, he can take Scuttle, but if he doesn't get anything off of this, let's say, pressure in the bot side of the map or pressure on top of Jarvan, he just loses out in experience holistically. It's good that he's able to get this, and he might even kind of show Jingdong's hand.
And while she's able to take away Scuttle Crab bottom side of the river, Infernal Dragon's going to be coming up in a minute 40 as well. So that's a big objective to play around. You can see Clid now trying to make a return visit into the mid lane. Do I have a ward right behind? There goes the taunt. YaGao's able to connect. They jump in. Xiaohu jumps away, but there's the Cataclysm. Here comes Galio, and he's stuck on top of the Gangplank ultimate as well. Brilliant execution from Jindong.
Yeah, really well played. They knew that both sums were up and available for Xiaohu, both the heal and the flash, but it didn't matter. They still had the damage on top of it with Gangplank sending out his ulti too. Really good play from Jingdong.
And they burnt no summoner spells on their side as well. Very clean for Jindong Gaming. They can now return into that mid lane if they want to.
Yeah, I mean, Xiaohu, looking back at that play, will probably just beat himself up and say, I should have respected the initial taunt. I should have flashed away from that one because that was the most important part of it. At the very least, you probably just pull YaGao's own flash, but at least you get a summoner spell out of it. Now they can make the play once more because no sums are burnt off of that.
And they can even force the matter as well. Xiaohu has to play very safe for the next few minutes. Zoom's going to take this chance, take this time to go back to base. He's already been able to push in Letme, who chose to walk back into the lane instead of teleporting. Completed his Trinity Force, so that's the first start of a power spike for Zoom.
And here's the thing about the mid lane position for me at the very least, because we've been talking about why Orianna hasn't really been seen, or at least the drawbacks of the Orianna pick. And we've seen Azir get ganked countless times. And if you lose Flash, or at best I would say you lose a lot of mana because at least you have the EQ, the combination to kind of just slide up out of there in those gank scenarios if you're Azir. If you're Ryze, then you have your ulti along with stopwatch. These are very safe lanes. Theoretically, Galio's a safe lane as well. But if you're Orianna, you don't have that added safety. You're actually going to be relying on your summoners a lot more often.
See, nothing too much has changed upside of Matt. Letme still able to be rather aggressive against Zoom. In fact, throwing out the spooky ghost. Zoom may have stepped a little bit too far forward. Takes quite a bit of damage, and Letme is still at full health.
And people are going to be talking about, oh, you know what? Loses your ulti. I don't know if that's a proper trade. No, any trade is a proper trade on the top side, because that's just more, I guess, questions for Zoom. Why did he do that? Is there another member up top side? I have no idea where Mlxg is.
This is a little bit scary though, Raz. Oh, Clid not going to make his way towards the Dragon.
Uh-oh.
Dragon so low, he knows he's being started, but Ming's going to be able to zone him out. Mlxg incredibly low, but does pick up a sneaky Infernal Dragon for RNG.
Yeah, you know what? If they had seen the HP and mana off of Mlxg, they would have committed more members to it. Try and push him off. But great on Ming to be able to push out Jarvan. Just make him feel a little bit uneasy, saying, okay, I don't want to get caught off myself.
The gold's still dead even, Raz. I mean, JDG with the early mistake, followed by a good gank mid lane. They've lost a couple of elemental dragons along the way. But you'd have to expect them to be fairly comfortable in the position they're at now.
Yeah, level 11. Well, at least just like, obviously you've gone past your points in which you've gotten yourself your ultimate abilities, your wombo combos there.
Well, Mlxg trying to jump in. YaGao does have the taunt available. Will be brought back in. No, he will not. Stopwatch stops the shockwave. Will be able to get the uppercut down, and good damage coming through as there goes Clid with the ultimate from Gangplank with the hero's entrance. YaGao picks up that kill, looking for more as Ming tries to show it to the mid lane. And great counter, great communication from Jindong.
Yep, both Clid and YaGao knew what they had to do immediately. Jarvan was in the area, didn't even have to blow flash to get in range. Just gets right on top of Orianna, throwing the GP ulti once again. We already saw that play before, but it just feels so hard for RNG to ever find a fight, because it always feels like there are members close by.
And you're now trying to accelerate that play, move into the bottom lane. Only 2 members of RNG here. Letme does have teleport. He's going to use it. Able with the stopwatch very early to get away from some of that crowd control. Good damage being returned on towards Mao. Mao forced to back out from turret range, but already been able to take down Able. Mao's going to falter on the hero play. YaGao's trying to run away from this one. Mlxg's going to continue chasing forward. He uppercuts back into his death. It's just going to be a 2-for-2 trade in the bottom lane.
Yeah, they thought they had enough time. Thankfully, Able had stopwatch. With bought more time for the rest of RNG to be able to get a counter dive on that front.
Oh, they're going to find Mlxg. Walks over a ward. Loken get a blast cone over as well. Good smite onto the Scuttle Crab. Gives him a bit more health. But Mlxg's still going to flash away.
Honestly, Mlxg was kind of trying a little bit too much. Didn't have his bottom lane. They already based. Going top side. And he just tried to get a little bit more vision to see if there's anybody there. But taking a second look at this, this is a play that you would usually see in your Galio compositions. You can dive incredibly well, just wait and get on top of the Varus pick, get the carry, and get out. Unfortunately, TP comes through from Letme. You can see Kha'Zix already coming in to cut them off. So at that point forward, the rest of the members of Jingdong are like, all right, you guys are dead. Save yourselves, everybody else.
And YaGao didn't want to try and run away, make the do-si-do around the map, but so just uppercuts back into the Kha'Zix, gives him a kill back. JDG have now swapped their AD carry support towards top side of the map. So have RNG, however.
Yeah, but this is a good amount of damage that they were able to put on the top side of the map for RNG. They were able to get there first, which is usually a good thing for RNG to be able to have the position on the wave first, which usually means that Mlxg, he's not there just yet, but would be able to get proper control wards linking both mid lane and towards the top lane, which usually means like you have a slower push to try and get that top lane tower down. Orianna's already there, so they're actually trying to speed this one up.
They're trying to go for a 5-man dive topside map. There's the ultimate nice and early cleanse being used by Loken. Unsealed Spellbook helping him out. Even an early teleport being cancelled into the top lane. This allows Zoom to take down bottom lane outer turret uncontested, and first turret goes to Jindong Gaming.
And they have positioning on the next tower in the mid. I thought that they played their hand way too quickly. They actually could have kept Xiaohu in the mid lane, pushed up that wave, because he can do that versus the Galio, and then have him roam topside. Would have been able to already have the control wards placed for him. But they just kind of push their limits to see if they can get the tower, if they can get the dive, which means bottom lane tower is down, and the mid lane tower got chipped a little bit.
And RNG happy feeding a little bit there, and slow to react from the botch play top side of the map. Bottom lane inner turret now at half health. They defend the top lane turret as well. Mao as well as Loken, happy to go toe-to-toe against this combo. Only really getting the cleanse out of Loken. Didn't even need to use his stopwatch, and Clid has found Xiaohu once again. That's another flash being burnt from the Orianna.
Yeah, primary target. And the ulti for YaGao, low enough cooldown to be able to try that play once again on Xiaohu, and he won't have much to be able to defend himself. So it seems like Jingdong, once again going into game 2, have a clear directive. Their focus is to get right on top of Orianna, because there's not much of an ability for her to escape that. Kha'Zix has a jump. Vladimir, honestly, is just annoying. Everyone else has an option to get out of that situation. Orianna cannot.
Unfortunately for Xiaohu, he's been the one that's been picked on so far in this game from Jingdong Gaming. And YaGao's doing well in this mid lane, already picked up his Abyssal Mask. Against the Morello Nomicon, picked up by Xiaohu.
Yeah, Abyssal Mask, just the magic resist holistically from Jingdong is going to be pretty annoying if you're RNG. The Hex Drinker, or at least now got upgraded into the Ma Malmortius for Zoom. The natural magic resist that Abyssal Mask gives you. And just the rest of the map, of course, being able to pick up that magic resist is going to be pretty hard for Xiaohu to be able to land damage early on. Same with Letme. So they're going to be relying more on Abel and Mlxg to be able to do the attack damage to kind of just make up for it.
Which is strange because for now, Abel's going to be dealing a lot of magic damage as well.
True.
Through his W, through the Rage Blade.
That's why the itemizing is so, it's really smart from them.
Even the Wit Sand being picked up by Abel now. Soon Mao will have his own Locket of the Iron Solari. So that will negate some more damage with the massive shield that comes out from that. But after the botch play from RNG, Letme has swapped over to Ghost in the bottom lane. Zoom's teleport's coming back up shortly. So there will be a TP discrepancy, I should say. Disparity. It's not even a word. Lucky I don't have to talk for a living, Raz. Very lucky. Words are
100%.
difficult.
That'd be a problem. That being said, Jingdong once again have map control just because they have towers on both bottom side and top side. So you have the ability to just send GP and Galio in opposite lanes. I find it incredibly difficult for RNG to try and find a fight that actually favors them. They're just going to have to wait for Abel to get his third item. I suppose the Dragon win condition is real for RNG.
Oh, they got 2 clouds, Raz. The next one's an ocean. I've got an Infernal. That's always nice.
Yeah.
You don't look impressed.
I mean, we just keep getting hit by clouds. At least RNG's getting hit by that this time.
RNG getting hit by RNG, quite literally. For now, they have 3-member strong mid lane, the bottom lane duo, as well as their jungler waiting in the wings. Galio still clearing out top side of the map. But just playing this one a little bit passive. I mean, Jingdong Gaming don't have to go anywhere. They do scale quite well into the late game. They should be fairly happy.
Yeah, that's what I've been honestly appreciative when it comes to Jingdong. A lot of people are expecting the flashy, non-stop fighting when they have a lead, but that's not the case. They're taking the spring split for what it is, a learning experience, and they recognize that they need to slow the pace of the game down when they have the lead. They don't necessarily have to make the first punch. They just need to be able to recognize what opportunities, what windows they have. This is one of them.
I mean, if you're saying that this is a learning experience for them, look at how they are at the moment in the West Conference. Sorry, East Conference. They are
a winning and learning experience.
They are 2-1 at the moment.
That's true.
And if they take down RNG, they'd be top of the table, if I'm not mistaken.
Very efficient learning experience.
Not only knocking RNG down to 2-2, but also accelerating themselves to 3-1. But for now, they only have the first game of the best-of-3 series. RNG are not out of this game just yet. And still a very close match between the two teams. About 2,000 gold is what separates them. RNG falling slightly behind. Zoom still pushing for this bottom lane inner turret. And I know that there is a wild Letme that's trying to get right behind him. But look at this. JDG trying to fight in the mid lane. Clid throwing out his own ultimate. Flag and drag gets him back to safety. Mao has to try and jump to someone in the back lines. Gets jumped up by Mlxg. And look at Letme straight into the back lines. Taking a lot of damage. He gets killed. Can't even go to the Sanguine Pool. And the rest of RNG trying to run away. Can Loken snipe him out? The execute's there. Forces the flash out of Ming. Not only did they win a team fight, Raz, but Zoom is zooming down on the bottom lane.
Yeah, they're going to be able to chip this one down. They're going to be able to get so much damage on towers. A lot of gold for this. Jingdong Gaming.
That's Baron.
Yes, it is. It actually is. Yeah, they tried to be able to get on top of Abel. Abel flashes out of it. That's the part we didn't catch. Which RNG thought, okay, We have full HP members. Let's go for this fight. But really smart change up in who they were targeting. To be able to go straight towards the Vladimir. Letme goes in way too early. There was a fat, I would say, a wall in between him and the rest of his team, which made it hard for them to follow up. He dies immediately, and that's the team fight for RNG. They couldn't follow up anymore.
Also, don't listen to me. That's not Baron Raz.
They should have been
I'm
Baron.
play-by-play, you know? I shouldn't make these shots. I shouldn't call these shots.
Other LPL teams would have gone.
Not Jindong.
Yeah.
Playing this one a little bit safe. They do get bottom lane inner turret. They get mid lane outer as well as a team fight in their favor, blowing a lot of summoner spells. On top of that, JDG only really used the exhaust. And that's almost off a cooldown.
Yep. And here's the thing that you were surprised about, them not getting Baron. It's because Jingdong Gaming were confident enough that they already have pressure towards Baron, base early on, back on the map to be able to control the wards that they already have placed on the map. So this is confidence from the Jingdong lineup to say that we don't have to get Baron immediately because we already have control on the map. It's ours when we get back on.
As we mentioned, they're the ones that are scaling. They've got the Gangplank, they've got Galio, Jarvan, they've got a Kog'Maw, who's very happy at the moment. Loken's picked up the cleanse for himself. Swapping out his summoner spells once again. Now grouping up towards the Baron pit once more.
They have Kog'Maw with them now, which means that their speed towards being able to take down this Baron is incredibly quickly. They're not going to use it for the speed of the Baron, just make it incredibly, like I would say, a lot more fear for RNG, because RNG have to check this. They should be able to respect it, but the ward catches it. Are you kidding me?
No way. That's unlucky.
Really
They'll throw
is.
another control
They
ward
see it
out.
now.
Now they see the ward, and they can continue to go back to their shenanigans.
Now RNG actually have to respect this.
Put their own ward down. This is just a waiting game. Big game of chicken.
Because technically Jingdong don't even they're not interested in the Baron itself, they're interested in the team fight. They have a good way to kind of hop onto RNG when RNG looks for this.
Letme is real far away though. Ming is waiting. Sorry, not Ming. Mlxg is waiting in the wings. Baron is very low. They've decided to peel off. Jindong Gaming say, you know what? We're not going to look for it. Big shockwave comes out as well as the ultimate from Leona. Ming getting a big combo going down. Mao gets his ultimate off, and Ming will pay for that with his life. Letme, however, will be able to take down Mao. Zoom throwing out his own ultimate as Abel gets caught in the Cataclysm combo. Galio's going to jump in as well. There goes the stopwatch coming out from Clid. Double kill coming out for Loken. A third kill comes out for the team. Xiaohu's running the complete wrong direction, and JDG are relentless, chasing him down. Knockout comes through, flushes over the Raptors. Uppercut can't go through the wall. That's not how that ability works, YaGao. You got to watch out for that one. A little bit tricky there, but still, RNG lose 3 members in the team fight.
That was so smart from Jingdong. And it was mostly in the decision to going straight on top of Abel instead of the Orianna. They knew that Ori still had flash, but because of the previous play, Abel didn't have it for himself. Instant kill to be able to get on top of him. Already got the kill on Letme. Yeah, you know what? She ain't going back to base.
Oh, Loken and Clid trying to get good damage onto the mid lane in the turret, and Xiaohu's dead. There's a Galio chasing him. Run away!
He's accepted his death. He's
Not
gotten
like
the
this.
minions. Not much you can do, man.
Oh, who gets it? Galio or Gangplank? Quick, go. Who gets it, Raz? Raz! You left me hanging!
Technically, I wasn't wrong. If I don't provide an answer, I'm not wrong.
Well, here's that fight over Baron again. JDG peel off nice and early.
All right, so this is the best thing about it is because sure, this was a lot of damage. Great setup from RNG as a team, but they did it all on top of LvMao. Doesn't matter if LvMao dies because he's a Braum at this point in time. They are able to take the fight immediately. No support in the Leona. Recognizing that Flash was down and able to pick him up as well. Target selection from Jingdong, recognizing that they can team fight, is proper.
Really good cut of that replay as well. We don't watch Galio uppercut into the wall.
You don't need
Because
to see it.
that didn't happen. Jindong Gaming going to try and go for a Baron once again. This time around, RNG are just not close enough. Mlxg going to try and look for that miracle steal. Can you get it?
Maybe.
Not jumping in time. That gets picked up by Jindong Gaming. And now they are so far ahead of RNG. 7,000 gold in the lead. They have Baron buff to work with as well.
Yeah, and they have a lot of gold in their pockets. So now just going towards Dragon, picking that up for themselves and just pushing the wave so they can get a proper base timing. This is just smart stuff from Jingdong as a whole.
Moving straight down towards the Elemental Dragon. Just a small victory for them. Just the icing on the cake, Raz. They'll be able to take this down nice and easy. Reset, pick up the items they want. I mean, Loken already has 3 items picked up. Rageblade, Witsend, as well as the Hurricane. Iron Solari picked up as well. Gangplank's accelerating ahead. He already has his Yomus, going for the Phantom Dancer next.
Yeah, and Zhonya's getting
YaGao.
completed from YaGao.
Woo! He's got a Landry's Torment on top of that.
Mm.
That is pretty sexy.
Feels good. It feels good. Makes the next team fight all the more interesting.
We've already seen what a bit of AP can do for a Galio. Let's see if he gets anyone down here. Mlxg though jumping in, brings in Galio, but he's forced to flash out. Clid wants to go back in. Ultimate comes out from Zoom, gets some good damage down. The rest of JDG trying to look for this fight. Loken's a little bit too far behind. Letme is nowhere to be seen for the side of RNG. They do burn the ultimate from Orianna, but still JDG looking fairly strong.
Strong enough to somehow push them back in what was a very atrocious startup on the skirmish. Clid was just caught off guard, and he tried to trade with Q, which means he couldn't EQ out of there. Probably thought that they were going to be able to take the fight with a GP flanking, which is just not how you want to play the fight. So with how much credit we've been giving to Jingdong, they still have to keep themselves honest in how they close out this game.
Well, they don't overcommit to that fight, so all it costs them is one recall back to base. So delaying a little bit time on the Baron. About a minute wasted from that. They still have a minute 40. And 2 inner turrets left to be taken.
Uh-oh. No. Okay,
Ooh.
get out of there.
Zoom able to catch him off guard. Mlxg jumps away.
At the very least, I guess the benefit of all of that is that Loken gets himself red buff before he rejoins the team. So now they can just stick here as long as possible. If Loken gets poked out a little bit by Abel's Q, he can regen up a little bit for himself.
Well, that is an incredibly tanky Armored Titan at the moment. Jingdong Gaming going to use the Baron buff to push in through the mid lane. But really a lot of pressures on the top side of the map, when Zoom is currently chipping away at that top lane in a turret up against Letme. How does Vladimir do now? He has the Landry's, he has his Void Staff. But Zoom has 5 items.
I would say the only thing Letme has here is the fact that he can push Zoom away from autoing the damn turret. That's it.
Baron buff is slowly chipping away. Loken not tempted to step up to the turret just yet. Still has a lot of respect towards RNG's crowd control.
Yeah, right now Jingdong, they only want to pick a fight when they believe they have all of the pieces ready. So now that Galio took a step back to be able to prep the bottom wave, that means that they're kind of recognizing that they can actually get 3 pushing waves for themselves, waiting for GP to get back into position to be able to take this fight and try and dive without RNG having full members on that mid lane turret.
You know what? During this time, Mlxg decides he's going to take Krugs, because why not? It's not like his base is under siege or anything. He's going to go back to base, pick up a last Whisper for himself. Now JDG pushing in on the bottom side of the map as well. Baron buff has expired though. And Ming actually decides to jump in, get some good damage down. Clid will be able to flag and drag out. Zhonya is being used by Galio nice and early. During this time, Zune has been able to take down top lane in a turret.
Worst thing about that was RNG used up a lot of ultimates, even using the Locket of the Iron Solari, when Vladimir wasn't in position for the fight. He was making the rotation towards the bottom side of the map, but he wasn't there in time, which means that Jingdong Gaming still have their necessary ults to be able to press for another fight. Sure, they're basing now, but on the next wave that they push into the mid lane tower, they can choose to go for a fight and not have Ming or Abel's ultimate ready.
But again, Jingdong taking this very, very slow, Raz. Loken's still sitting on his, 5th item, or uncompleted 5th item.
Right now, Jingdong are on the move, close enough to being able to take a 2-0 versus Orange, which is incredible as it is, so you don't want to make a mistake when you're going for it.
You were joking about it during the break, how every game that Jingdong have played so far has either been a 2-0 or that 1-0-2.
That's true, they lost 0-2 to IG, but everything else was super cleaning how they were able to deal with it.
What would that mean for RNG? Because they have fielded Abel, they fielded Y4 as well today. No Uzi playing, no Caster playing. And they also lost to LGD last week, which, we've sold as a hiccup, a speed bump.
Yeah, I think Mlxg said it best in the video piece going into this game. Just being able to talk about how they're still using this to kind of find out what's the proper lineup for them. What are the right pieces currently? They've been kind of putting Abel and Y4 in, and both of them have come in with the same result. We haven't seen Karsa for quite a while, so sure, they wouldn't be able to get the opportunity to use them if they just lose 0-2, but it gives them an idea to look into the next series, and if they want to start Karsa. Or maybe Mlxg looks at this and say, no, actually, I know what I did wrong in this game going forward. So these are all lessons that RNG as a team are learning going into the summer, or at least the spring split.
I mean, it's already been mentioned on the desk as well with Chinese New Year coming around soon. And the break that will take place in the LPL gives them time to reset, get some good practice in with the roster after the break. And it's around the same time as when we head into the cross-conference, which is looking fairly scary if you're a team from this conference.
That's true. You still have to go up against many heavy hitters. WE, EDG.
I mean, all the way down to FPX.
That's true.
They may have just realized Mlxg was out here. They tried to collapse onto him. He's not going to get there. Infernal Drake's coming up in the next 10 seconds with Baron buff 40 seconds behind.
Mlxg trying to get as many waves, many farms as possible, just so he can be as strong as possible when it comes to the next fight.
Good vision control coming out from Jindong Gaming, fighting over the red buff even. During this time, Zoom is trying to take down Infernal Dragon by himself. Clid will jump over the wall, provide some additional help.
Yeah, there's no steal that was going to happen there just because of the contest that was happening towards red buff.
And now Zoom going to make his way down into the bottom lane. Remember, Letme has not swapped out his Ghost yet. He's still holding on to the team-fighting summoner spell. He is a very powerful Vladimir. Jindong Gaming, yes, they're ahead. They're about 9,000 gold up, but Zoom still can split push.
And here's the worry if you're Vladimir. How are you going to play this team fight? Usually Vladimirs would want to find a flank position to kind of get right on top of Loken. We saw the plays happen, I would say, when Xiaohu was playing Vladimir in the Sinning game lineup. We saw what Vladimir can do in these team fights. It's just impossible, or it's going to be very difficult for Letme to find those opportunities when they don't even have the top lane power down.
Mlxg.
Get out of there.
It's just going to jump away. During this time, though, there's a fight in the bottom lane. Orianna using the shockwave on towards Zoom means that Jindong Gaming have to try and force this one out. Ghost was used by Letme, so he can't jump up to the top of this fight. It's a 3-on-4. Will be a smite up between Mlxg as well as Clid. We'll have to see who takes this one down, Raz. It's going down to about 2,000 health. Ming's trying to jump in there as well. Ultimate's going to come out, locking down with some crowd control. Getting a very Mlxg jumps in. Who's going to win it? He stole it! Mlxg steals the Baron away from Jindong Gaming!
That was the miracle play RNG needed. Not only were they able to push Zoom off of the bottom side of the map, but they stole Baron buff. The one thing that Jindong saw as an opportunity in this game, gone.
And that's going to help out RNG so much as well. You can already see the gold lead starting to shrink. Structures are going to fall as well. 5,000 gold is what separates them now.
This is what's so difficult about this. The execution damage from Mlxg is going to be able to make this happen. It's actually very difficult to outsmite a Kha'Zix in this sense. And he even had levels on him. So that was a great look for Mlxg to recognize that he can go for that play. Usually the counter to that is, well, the jungler's out there, just try and kill him before we go towards the Baron. They didn't make that decision because they didn't want to be stalled out any further. They didn't have an ability to just jump over the wall. I mean, they had a lot, but they would have fully committed to being able to kill Kha'Zix rather than taking the Baron afterwards. So they saw that opportunity. I was like, well, we've been taking the Barons for the last game and a half when those steal opportunities came through. We've outsmited him before. They lost this time.
Gold lead's now 6,000 gold, Raz. It was about 9 to 10,000. So RNG pull it back a little bit. And the later this game goes, the more that gold lead becomes irrelevant. You can already see big items being picked up by everyone. Abel, he's equal on items with Loken at the moment. Loken even going for the Frozen Mallet, when it's a Blade of the Ruined King that was picked up by Abel.
Usually a lot of gold would just kind of swing back towards the opposing team just because that's your opportunity to be able to pick up towers. They're using Orianna to do this, but it's actually getting pushed so quickly on the side of Jindong that they can't get any answers towards the towers just because they're already onto their inhib tower.
One small from Jindong Gaming is this. Zoom was able to get good damage on the bottom lane inhibitor turret. Yes, it's going to regenerate some health over time, but does create a big pressure point. 5-on-5 down to the bottom lane. Baron buff is there and available. Jindong Gaming try to step in. Looking to try burst him down. Look at Clid's health. He is so low. Shockwave's going to bring back Mao. Puts up the shield. Zenith Blade going to come out from Ming if he could get close enough, but just throws out the ultimate from now.
Is good damage. And Jindong honestly have to go back to base because if you look towards the top side of the map, it's a massive wave that already took down their outer turret.
What is this? Fnatic?
Maybe.
Oh, spooky ghost.
Oh my god. They're just sad that it's not 8.2. Can't be doing that.
This does give RNG some time, though. They're pinging to go down mid lane. They still have Baron buff to work with as well. That's another 1,000 gold being pulled back for them once they take down this structure.
There we go. That was the opportunity they were looking for before, but Jingdong tried to go for a bottom lane tower push, which was a good way to cut RNG off from that opportunity.
And now it's 4,000 gold, which is what separates the team, Raz. It's almost coming down to a point where it's going to be purely team composition and map position. Who has this one going into the late game? Both of them have very strong 5-on-5 team comps.
I would start to favor RNG, honestly, just because now that they were able to get the top lane tower down, they have the option for Letme to actually flank and impact the backside. And I've always just been worried about how Loken is going to play these fights against the Vladimir. But if you're just diving so hard into the front line with Clid and YaGao, there's usually not that much protection for him. He didn't need that because they were so far ahead. Now they actually have to think about how Loken's going to be faring with a Vladimir on top of him.
Big objective coming up shortly is going to be the Elder Dragon. A minute until that spawns. 6 items ready and available for Zoom. He is very strong on the Gangplank at the moment.
The most important thing, too, is the magic penetration starting to come through. Xiaohu already has his Void Staff. Same for Letme. Has the Leandries as well. This means that the earlier magic resist that we saw coming through from Jingdong, not nearly as important.
Essence Reaver is the final pickup for Loken on the Kog'Maw. He's going to be able to pick up red buff for himself. No Blade of the Ruin King. No Infinity Edge being picked up. No lifesteal either coming out for the Kog'Maw, but they try and find Mlxg. Pops his ultimate to try and get a bit faster and go invisible.
He needed that speed. The speed was the difference for Jingdong just jumping on him. Because if Clid was able to get on his ulti, then that would have just been YaGao following up.
15 seconds though until Elder Dragon spawns. We've already seen these two teams try to fight over an Elder Dragon once, but that was when Jingdong Gaming had Baron buff and they were massively far ahead. Now, after the series of unfortunate events that took place in the past 5 minutes, Raz, Jingdong Gaming now fairly even against RNG.
Take a look at Vladimir. He's in a position to look for a flank, so if Jingdong ever tries to jump on top of Xiaohu, not only does he have the summoners to get out of it, but Letme has instant access to the Kog'Maw.
And Clid actually trying to position to go for a team fight. Way in the back lines. Clid actually finds Letme. Jumps on top of him. Galio now looking to try and jump in as well. Gets on top of Clid. Going to try and collapse onto Letme to kick things off. Hemoplague already used onto the front line, but Clid's going to be able to get back out of this one. However, Jingdong Gaming in the choke point and a massive shockwave comes through. Everyone is still fairly healthy though. Just Clid and YaGao that have taken the damage in this team fight. Ultimates being exchanged, but neither team really forcing the issue. Not really trying to force the fight. Big mini wave top side of map trying to push in for JDG though.
Yeah, I wonder if Clid's going to actually base. He's healing up just a little bit. They can stick around for this Elder Dragon.
It looks like they're going to do just that. Zoom, he's teleporting out! Oh, there's a teleport coming back in as well. YaGao's going to join the fight. Zoom's going to the top lane. They might just go for a trade here. JDG looking to try and go for the fight. RNG have backed off. They've sent Letme back to the top lane. This is a strict 4-on-4.
Yeah, that's completely neutralized the pressure that RNG thought they had.
They get good damage to fighting over Scuttle Crab first. 5,000 hit points on the Elder Dragon. Clid has healed up quite a bit. Elder Dragon trying to chip away the rest of RNG. Turns back around, can't decide who he really wants to fight.
The Ocean Dragon's doing a lot of work for Clid. He didn't have to base. And all of that meant that now he's at half HP, he can look for that one engage. And that's enough for RNG to just back away entirely.
And so much patience coming out from both these teams. Yes, teleports have been burnt by Jingdong Gaming. Letme was forced to go back to base as well. Now just trying to shove out that bottom lane. Clid trying to heal up as much as he can, but I'm actually looking for him. Trying to get as much damage as possible. Slow going to come out from the Randuin's Omen. Clid in trouble though. What? Here comes Ming, trying to lock him down. YaGao's there looking for the taunt. Clid flashes away. Abel throws out the ultimate. Can't take him down just out. The Unbreakable gonna save his life. And Jingdong Gaming lose the fight another day, but Abel doesn't flash away. YaGao does not try to go for the taunt flash either.
They burnt so much to try and kill Clid. You even had Ming flash over the wall to see if he can get the 3v1, but he still gets out completely free.
But he's so low, Raz. Clid gonna hold on for dear life at the moment. Now Elder Dragon is going to try and reset down to about half health and moving up in towards the pit. Xiaohu's ultimate's coming back up soon. He's low amount of Clid! He's gonna take it out so low! He dies to the Elder Dragon! Mlxg's in there! He'll be able to smite this one away! Elder Dragon to RNG! And now the rest of the team trying to back out of this one. YaGao's in trouble! He's gonna get taken out low. Pops the Zodia's Hourglass. Loken's kiting back, and RNG pick up the team fight!
Mlxg should look for a jump here. I don't think he has it.
Loken trying to get away from this one. Doesn't have the cooldown back up just yet. Mlxg was waiting, but there are minions in the base still, Res. RNG trying to push for the win. 30 seconds on Clid. 45 on YaGao to come back up.
Braum should be the difference to be able to... Wait a minute, I think he's dead. Braum is actually dead. We didn't get to catch it. He was the one, like the sole tank on the team that could have stopped this from happening.
Ming's ultimate back up and available. Loken only has his cleanse. RNG trying to push this one through. They have the Elder Dragon available, pushing onto the first Nexus turret. Zoom is alive. Clid's back up in 4 seconds. RNG trying to push the issue. They only have 1 minion. Abel's trying to take this one back up. Realize they can't stay here long enough. YaGao's up in 14 seconds. 24 seconds on Mao. Lots of minions pushing down in the bottom lane. Baron is up and available as well. This is going to be a strict inhibitor for inhibitor trade, but RNG trying to be cheeky here. Zoom don't walk in. He gets collapsed upon. Eats an orange, and he is K. And JDG now trying to turn the issue, trying to turn back onto RNG.
They bought enough time. RNG have to go back to base to stop this wave, but Baron is up, and they will lose the Baron if they do that.
Now going to go back to base. Remember, there are no super minions in the bottom lane, so the turrets can make short work of this wave. However, the next few waves, that's not quite what's going to happen. Ming's already gone back to base. JDG are alive. Mlxg waiting in the wings once again. He wants to get that cheeky steal. Jindong Gaming, however, they've already started Baron buff. Orianna is not there though, Raz. Jindong Gaming going for it.
They'll have to make a pretty crazy play. They already see that Letme
it's
and
low.
Kha'Zix are there.
Mlxg, he can't do it a second time. Once bitten, twice shy of Jindong Gaming. They take him down. They're trying to turn the team fight. Mlxg's low. He gets taken down first. Loken gets that first kill. He flashed over the wall. Oh, look at the Kog'Maw go. He's spraying and he's spraying and he's still alive. Jindong Gaming now. They have to try and take down Abel. Big shockwave comes out of Xiaohu. What a massive play coming out of the veteran. The little tiger comes up big as only Loken is left alive.
The 2 carries of RNG can end the game alone.
Loken's trying his hardest right here, Raz. He's moving up towards top center back. He wants the red buff. He's going to get the regeneration from just that. Heading back to base with the empowered recall. Abel as well as Xiaohu now moving up into the top lane, getting good damage onto this inhibitor turret.
They might just take the inhib. At this point, I don't know how they'll be able to just get on top of Loken, and he should be able to protect himself.
There is only one Nexus turret. Loken trying to do what he can to clear out the minions, but he's out of mana. He's forced back into his base. There are some decent minions here. Somehow Loken has to put up a massive defense. Xiaohu's ultimate is up and available. Ultimate comes out from Varus. Abel trying to go toe-to-toe. They take him down. RNG have done it. What a massive comeback for RNG. They're on to the Nexus, and no one for Jindong Gaming's alive. We're going to go to game number 3.
I cannot believe they won that Baron fight. It made no sense for that to happen. A lot of it was on, honestly, a lot of it was on Letme. Letme found the ability to get right in the middle of them and get as much damage as possible before he died. Such a strong end to the game for RNG.
Massive game from these two teams. Mlxg comes out big with the first Baron steal, brings RNG back into the match. 9,000 gold behind. Couldn't get the second Baron, but it's Xiaohu and Abel, the 2 carries for the team, that pick up the win in the end. And Loken, he poured his heart out into that final team fight, Raz. It just was not enough.
If you were to look at this game, here it is. Here's the graph. At 20 minutes, 25 minutes, everything was going so well for Jingdong. It honestly looked like another massive win for Jingdong where they were just slow rolling the game. And it didn't turn into it. You already talked about it. The Baron was a major focus. 2, 3 Barons where Jingdong could not seal the deal.
Just not enough. Jindong Gaming were trying to play that one as slow as they possibly could. That's what it just doesn't work out against RNG, who held on, and they kept holding on. They never allowed Jindong Gaming to break the base, even with the Baron buffs they picked up.
Yeah, there were really strong calls that were being made, especially when the Elder Dragon fight was happening, because Jingdong were just starting to ramp it up. Starting to speed up the pace of the game. You saw the TP that went topside, and they decided, okay, you know what, Vladimir, go topside, deal with them, please. So there were so many points where Jingdong were getting frustrated, trying to push their lead, and then the defense just kept winning out if you're RNG. So really strong defense from them. And then ultimately, good Baron fights.
Really good Baron fights coming out from RNG. They're able to play out those team fights really well, and I mean, Xiaohu, the veteran there, with that massive shockwave, what looked to be a team fight from RNG, just a team fight for Jindong Gaming, just saves the day.
Yeah, those two AoE ultimates that we saw from both Orianna and Vladimir won it out for them. They were able to get enough damage when they had Void Staff to actually land and plant into the enemy team, so really strong for them.
And with that, RNG able to make a massive comeback against Xindong Gaming. They have tied up the series 1-1. We still have one more game of this best of 3, but to break it down a bit further, let's send it back to Pulse at the analyst desk.
Thank you so much, guys, and oh my god, that was an absolutely insane game. I wish you could have seen the analyst desk, because our heads were in our hands at that dragon fight. It's just like, why? Why would you do this? Jungle's low, gives the opportunity for RNG to get back into the game, and we've talked about this. We literally spoke about this in game 1 of the day. WE, any of the top teams, RNG, you give them a chance, and they will take everything from you.
Yeah, and unfortunately it was a couple of very unfortunate, untimely calls. That really loud dude in the crowd for JD, they need to get that guy on stage.
Give him a microphone.
Exactly.
Get that guy a mic.
They need to start directing that, because it was a terrible Elder call right after Jarvan got chunked. Terrible Baron calls. They were never able to secure it and close the deal. And unfortunately, it was just, we talked about this, as soon as you break them out of lane phase, they don't have the veteranship or the experience to close it out.
But someone who does have the veteran status is Xiaohu. That massive shockwave we saw at the end of the game. Only someone like Xiaohu is able to pull that off. And as much as we hype YaGao, it's that experience that Xiaohu really brings, which allows games to go back in the favor of RNG.
And that's the thing, like, what more could you want from a League of Legends match? We had two incredible players just trying to style on each other. YaGao came out super hot and heavy, swinging in the early game, pulling off some incredible performances on the Galio, and then the fact that Xiaohu looks down the barrel of YaGao and says, nah, like, learn your place, Padawan. It is not your time yet, and hits an incredible shockwave.
Yeah, now we're going to take a look at the replay here, and it is of our final fight of the game, and it was exactly that. It was exactly Xiaohu pulling it out exactly when he needed to.
At this point, you're like, there's no way. They're going to clean it up. Loken with the hero flash over the back of the Baron pit, so Kog'Maw survives. He'll be outputting a ton of damage. There he goes. And at this point, you're like, it's done. There's no way RNG come back from this. Cue the 2v5, the 3-man shockwave, insta-deletes 2 members, and they just walk through it in the game.
Yeah, Abel wins his own fight as well, and I don't think any other combination of players would have allowed that to happen. Like, literally, it had to be Abel, and it had to be Xiaohu in the exact scenario for them to pull that off, and they did it. And the miracle play to get the pick near the Baron, near the base as well, kill Loken, end the game, and it's like, how was this allowed to happen? It shouldn't be legal in League of Legends for this to be a swing that big. It was like a 12,000 gold swing at the end of the game, basically off of 2 fights.
Yeah, but I'm happy it was. Like,
yeah, I'm happy it was.
Saying,
now
like,
we get a game 3, but like,
that's feels
crazy.
Bad, but as just like a spectator watching that game, the crowd was going nuts. For like 99% of it, because they're heavily RNG fans, super silent. From up here, and we're above the crowd, you can hear the JD members screaming. Like, that's how loud they are, and they're shot calling, how aggressive they are. And so we could hear when things were about to happen, because the JD guys would start going off, you know, everyone's yelling. But then hearing the crowd erupt and roar, especially on the back of that Xiaohu play, was incredible just to be above it all.
I mean, it's absolutely momentum in its finest, right? When you have not only the plays going your way, but also the audience behind you. Incredible stuff, incredible League of Legends, but we are going to send it to a quick break before we get into that third and final decider match.